If you think your culture is normal, you're already mistaken. Whether you grew up in Korea, Europe, or the United States, your ideas about fairness, freedom, family, and morality are not universal. They are historical accidents. And here is the uncomfortable part. You may be weird. The modern global system runs on one very unusual version of the human mind. If you don't understand that, you will misread power, institutions, and people. Today, we correct that. The argument comes from Weird, The Weirdest People in the World by Harvard anthropologist Joseph Henrich. Weird means Western, educated, industrialized, rich, democratic societies. And these societies are psychological outliers. Most behavioral science is built on these outliers. We treat the unusual as universal. That is the mistake. The core difference. Weird societies tend to produce strong individualism, analytical rule-based reasoning, high trust in strangers, guilt-centered morality, impersonal fairness. High kinship societies, or the opposite of weird societies, tend to emphasize loyalty to extended family, hierarchical relationships, shame-based morality, dense social networks, trust bounded by personal ties. Neither is morally superior. They are structurally different, and structures shape institutions. Consider corporate culture. In many Korean firms, hierarchy carries moral weight. Loyalty and relationships often guide decisions. In weird systems, contracts override relationships. A rule applies even if it hurts a senior executive. When rules are stricter than hierarchy, strangers can cooperate at scale. When hierarchy is stronger than rules, stability depends on relationships. That difference is psychological before it is political. Heinrich traces the divergence back roughly 1,000 years. The catalyst, the medieval Catholic Church. It prohibited cousin marriage, polygamy, clan-based marriage alliances. Over centuries, extended kinship weakened. People could no longer rely primarily on families. They built guilds, universities, cities, courts. Impersonal institutions expanded. And over generations, minds adapted. Institutions reshaped psychology. Why it matters. This framework explains why Western democracies depend on impersonal voting, why contract law between strangers functions, why corporations scale globally, why corruption norms differ, why exporting democracy often fails. You cannot copy institutions without copying the social psychology beneath them. Modernity is not just technology. It is a mental reorganization. The book's weaknesses. Critics argue the church's role may be overstated. Correlation does not equal causation. Roman law, geography, Protestantism, and Enlightenment thought also shape divergence. Psychological separation may have begun earlier. Causal pathway is debated. The structural pattern is harder to dismiss. Why you should read it? Because it reframes global misunderstanding. It sharpens how you analyze institutional trust, education systems, family expectations, governance models. If you operate between East Asia and the West, this framework protects you from naive assumptions. Western institutions did not rise because Westerners were superior. They rose because kinship weakened and rules became stronger than blood. Rules allowed strangers to cooperate at scale. That cooperation built markets, universities, courts, and democracies. But institutions only function when enough people believe in rules more than relationships. When that balance shifts, systems don't collapse dramatically. They slowly lose their coherence. And that is far more difficult to detect. I'm Bruce Han. If you want to understand the structure beneath the headlines, stay with me. Subscribe. See you this Sunday.